गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन् ऊतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ महागणपतये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। कल्याणानां निधानं कलिमलमथनं पावनं पावनानां पाथेयं यन्मुमुक्षोः सपदपरिपदप्राप्तये प्रस्थितस्य विश्रामस्थानमेकं कविवरवचसां जीवनं सज्जनानां बीजं धर्मद्रुमस्य प्रभवतु भवतां भूतये रामनाम। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं मनसा स्मरामि श्रीरामदूतं वचसा वदामि श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। Our opening prayers were prayers to Lord Ganapati, a Vedic prayer. It was followed by a prayer to the divine to help the teacher and the taught in this journey. It's a Vedic prayer again that seeks protection for both me and you. Saha nau avatu, may you protect us both. Saha nau bhunaktu, may you nourish us both with every teaching, with every class, with every upadesha. Let our lives be nourished. Saha viryam karavavahai, nourishment will result in the form of a courage, a capacity. When a teacher and taught are nourished together, they are bonded together, then your capacity to learn the scriptures, receive the revelations grows 100-fold. May that happen in our relationship. Tejasvinau adhitam astu. Yed adhitam, whatever we learn, whatever is study, may it radiate in our lives. Tejasvinau astu. Whatever is learned, let it radiate, let it not fall off like water on the duck's back when nothing is absorbed. Every word spoken, every word received with an open heart, may it be absorbed in us and be transformative in nature. Ma vidvishavahai. May our relationship not fall apart. Very important. We begin together, but before completing our journey, before even completing a text, if there are better priorities in life that snatch you away from this sacred time and space we have created for ourselves, then that is very, very unfortunate. Sometimes it happens for no big reason. There need be no calamity in the external world. It may be just some ego tussle with my teacher. Or it may be some rub of something we don't know what. Some imagination, some projection. And for some reason or the other, a relationship can fall apart. Well, may that never, never happen is a prayer, not only of the students, it is a prayer equally for the teacher. And therefore both of us say, Ma vidvishavahai. May our relationship ever remain bonded, nurturing, growing, learning towards our Godhood. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Seeking threefold peace, because obstacles to peace emerge from three sources. That is the reason why every Hindu prayer will end with 3 times Shanti. The sources of disturbances can come from the world, from nature, from the elements which is beyond our control, like the pandemic, for example. It is called Adi Daivika Ashanti. Disturbances from the external force. There could be disturbances from my neighborhood, from my environment. Disturbances wherein your family prevents you from learning, or the neighbor finds it difficult because you chant Hanuman Chalisa so loud, you disturb his sleep early morning. Who knows? And so the neighborhood can get disturbing, and he comes knocking on your door, banging on your door, disturbing your learning, your peace. This is Adi Bhautika Ashanti. And the third is Adhyatmika Ashanti. I commit to sit and learn, but then I have a bad sprain today morning. And you send me a WhatsApp message, Ammaji, in my life I never had a sprain. Today morning only it started. These are very unique karma that we individuals have. You don't know what is it that's going to block you from doing this learning process, undergoing the learning. And therefore, seeking peace at 3 levels is very important to us. And hence, Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi is recited 3 times. And following that prayer, I recited a prayer for Rama Nama to become a Taraka mantra for us. It is believed by millions and millions of Hindus across the planet for thousands of generations. All you need to recite is Rama, the name of Rama. And the power of this name is such, it will help you cross all sorrow and afflictions in life. And this beautiful verse describes this Ramanama. What is Ramanama? What is this name called Rama? What does it carry? And it says, Kalyananam Nidhanam. The very name is an abode. The very name is an abode of all virtues. Kali Mala Mathanam. It churns the impurities of this Kali Yuga, of this era, whatever impurities we have gathered as a society, as a human civilization in our era. Believe me, we have gathered and we continue to gather a lot of impurities with the kind of destruction we do towards the natural world. We create a lot of bad karma for ourselves. We need something that will neutralize this. Kali Mala Mathanam, it churns, it breaks down this afflictions that we create in this Kali Yuga for ourselves, the Ashuddhis. Pavanam Pavananam. There are many things that purify in this world. Many faiths across the planet believe that water is a great purifier, is it not? And so the holy waters are there, the sacred waters you see. In the Christian tradition, in many faiths, the sacred water ceremonies do exist. Well, for this civilization, the very water itself means Ganga, the goddess, the essence of life. And therefore we have, you sip her, you take a drop of her presence in your body and you cleanse yourself of the karmic impurities, it is believed. We also believe that Ajyam, ghee or clarified butter, it purifies. And therefore for food, for cooking, and just before eating, to purify the food, this Ajyam is added. There are many Vaishnavites I know who will not eat food without adding one leaf of tulasi on their plate before they eat. Why? Because tulasi purifies. And so Pavananam, among the many purifying agents that the tradition gives us, that which purifies the most is what? Ramanama. Pavanam Pavananam. The essence of all these items that purify is, you know what? Is Lord Rama himself. And so Ramanama is Pavanam. It is a purifier of all that purifies. Patheyam yan mumukshoho sapadi. And therefore it gives you immediately Patheyam. What is Patheyam? That which is useful in the path for a seeker. Whatever a seeker requires in his path, whatever it may be, food, water, the basics of life, a proper guru to guide and so on. All of us are seekers, seekers of happiness, seekers of peace, right? Seekers of fullness. And as seekers we require guidance, and Ramanama is that patheyam. So those who are in seeking, immediately it is parapada praptaye. In order to reach your final abode, for those who have embarked upon this journey, what path are you walking? When you say, I walk the spiritual path, prasthitasya, I am walking the spiritual path. Then we say, you know what? Recite Ramanama. Make sure that all that you require for this spiritual journey is there for you. Earn the grace, because we don't know where the journey is going to lead us. It's an unknown journey. A material path is felt tangibly. A spiritual path is a intangible dimension of life. And therefore, we don't know where it's going to lead us. And hence we require the grace of the divine. And Rama Nama is that Nama which will always protect us on the spiritual path for those who have embarked upon the journey. And then he says, Vishramasthanamekam. It is that one single abode of rest. Of rest. Ram means to revel. So Ramante asmin iti Ramaha. The only place where you can rest properly in life is when you can go back to the source, to your own source. And where is that source? That source sits in your soul, in your own heart, and that source is Rama. And therefore it is said, Vishramasthanamekam Kavivara Vachasam. Among these beautiful expressions of the poets, this is really Jivanam Sajjananam. It is a livelihood. Ramanama is a livelihood of good people. Good people live in life in their goodness. They get the strength to be good, to be dharmic. You know how? Because they trust Ramanama. Here was a Dharma Purusha, a divine, an incarnation that walked on earth as a personification of Dharma, living all the afflictions of a human life and never swerved from goodness. And he is the icon for millions of people, for thousands of generations. He has become the icon for this great, most ancient civilization on earth. To be what? To be the icon of Dharma. To believe that Dharma is victorious, will be victorious. And with that faith, we can live a life of Dharma. That faith, what gives you that faith? Ramanama. And so, Bijam Dharmadrumasya. It is the seed of the tree of Dharma. When you chant Ramanama, when you keep chanting Ramanama, you cannot but blossom into a dharmic person. You cannot chant Ramanama in your life and become a Ravana and steal somebody else's wife, you know. It's not possible. If you are somebody given to Ramanama, the power of that Nama will keep us on the track of Dharma, because Ramanama is the seed of this beautiful tree called Dharma. Prabhavatu bhavatam bhutaye Ramanama. And so he says, Bhavatam, may you become so prabhavatu, we become capable for this auspicious word called Rama. May you understand that it is Ramanama, that is the Taraka mantra that will help me cross my life hurdles. Well, this was the prayer I started with, and we will continue to do these prayers to the end of Hanuman Chalisa and Ramayana as our opening prayers. And of course, there is no Ramanama prayer without Maruti right there. And so Hanumanji, Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam. He is Manojavam. He is Manasaha Javaha Yasya. So he is of the speed of the mind. You think of him and he is there. He moves in such a speed. How fast does your mind move? Think of Alaska and you are there, no? Think of South Pole, you are right there without ticket, without expenditure. That's exactly how we managed to celebrate Ganga Dashera with great pomp and show. I carried everybody to Gangaji. We all took a Ganga Snanam. Everything we did, it was a great pilgrimage of 3 days without shelling out 1 rupee from your pocket. How was that possible? Believe me, people felt the power of the mind, the speed of the mind, the speed in which it moves, and the impact it can create and give you the experience if only you back it up with the right faith. If the faith is there, the Shraddha is there, the experience is yours to enjoy. And so here, Hanumanji is one who will arrive in the speed of your thought. Manojavam. How can he do that? Marutatulya Vegam. Because he moves tulya, as fast as the wind. Marutatulya Vegam. His speed is as fast as the wind. Hey, can anybody move as fast as the wind? Jitendriyam. He is one who has all his senses, organs in his hands. His equipment is a tool for him. And so he can turn on whichever button he wants, whatever machinery he wants. He can make his tool become big and become small. He has the Ashta Siddhis. And therefore he is the most accomplished life form. And hence Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham. There are many brilliant souls in this world. But you know something? He is the best among them all. Varishtham. He is the superhuman. He is the superest of all. He is the bestest of all, if I can use the expression. And so, Varishtham, Buddhimatam Varishtham, Vatatmajam. He is the child of Lord Vayu. Vanarayutha Mukhyam. He is the chief of the army of the Vanaras. Don't think Vanaras are monkeys, okay? It is the worst translation ever existed in the English language for Vanara. They were descendants from the celestial worlds. When Lord Rama decided, when Mahavishnu declared that he would come as a Nara, as a human being, because Ravana's death could not happen in any other way than from the hands of a human being, because of the boon he had received. All the other celestial beings who also were to descend with Mahavishnu, how would they descend? Like when Lord became Lord Krishna, along with him came the celestial world in the form of gopis and gopas, is it not? So too, when Lord decided to come in the form of Lord Rama, then you have the other devatas in the form of lower life form called Vanaras. Vanaras. Don't even bother to translate. They are Vanaras. And so here he says what? So Vatatmajam Vanara Yuta Mukhyam. He is the chief, the head of the Vanara army. Who is he? Shri Rama Dutam. Shri Rama Dutam, he is the Duta, he is a messenger of Lord Narayana himself, of Mahavishnu. He has come in the form of a messenger, and unto that messenger, Shirasa Namami, I bow, I surrender, I bow with my head, I bow with my words, I bow with my mind. Really, I bow all the way my surrender to this great, great soul. Like you had Arjuna to walk with while Lord unfolded the Gita teachings. You could connect and identify with Arjuna, couldn't you, when you studied the Bhagavad Gita? Every time Arjuna went through a confusion, you said, that's right, that's my confusion also. His conflict was my conflict. His pain is my pain. You could connect to the seeker, the disciple in Arjuna. And then you were ready to be a recipient of the teachings from the Lord. So too, we cannot but enter into Ramayana and what Lord Rama is going to teach us about Dharma without support from his messenger, his Duta, Hanumanji. And hence I choose Hanuman Chalisa as our prayer, so that when Ramayana begins, it becomes a something that it becomes a Ganga Snanam on its own. It will cleanse and change and refine my thought world, my approach to the world, my perception of right and wrong. Believe me, every one of us needs Ramayana in our life, because Ramayana is one wonderful gift from the Lord to understand the power of choosing, the power of choice, the privilege we carry in choosing. How do we choose? It's what going to matter in your master plan and the unfoldment of your life. Choosing actions requires parameters of choice. What are your parameters depend on what is your philosophy. Your philosophy depends on your perception. Your perceptions are guided by your likes and dislikes. And there we go. We make choices which are more often than not distorted, away from Dharma. And so for us to be able to receive the teachings of Ramayana, this great classical work, we require the Shraddha, the devotion which Hanumanji will teach us how to approach the subject, how to approach Lord Rama, and how to learn, have the transformative, learning process in our own hearts. And therefore, this forms our opening prayer. We will put it in the group so that you can practice, and from next time you will join me in reciting these prayers. So with this, I begin Hanuman Chalisa. I recite, and I request Pushpa to recite after me. All of you recite after me, muted, while she recites unmuted. All right? So let us begin. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja,
Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja,
Nija Man Mukur Sudhare,
निज मन मुकुर सुधारी
बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु
बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु
जोदायक फलचारी
जोदायक फलचारी
बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके
बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके
सुमिरौ पवन कुमार
सुमिरौ पवन कुमार
बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि
बल बुद्धि विद्या देव मोहि
हरहु कलेश विकार
हरहु कलेश विकार।
Hanuman Chalisa, given to us by this great saint, poet, Goswami Tulasidas, is a set of 40 verses with 2 dohas in the beginning and 1 at the end, and 40 chaupais. The language here is not Sanskritam. It is Awadhi, which is a dialect of Hindi. A language, Awadhi, even spoken of in Ayodhya, in Uttar Pradesh. Very beautiful set of verses which have been taken as prayers. Not only does it serve the purpose of prayers, it tells you briefly Hanumanji's life. In unfolding of his life, there is one thing we understand from him is what is bhakti. Nature of bhakti is unfolded in Hanuman Chalisa really by understanding Hanumanji's very life. And here this beautiful beginning is made by Tulasidas ji, and he says, Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nija Mana, my own mind, Mukuru Sudhari, by purifying the mirror of my mind. How do you purify the mirror of your mind? He says with Saroja Raja, with the dust from the charana, from the feet of my Guru. Here, this is how Tulasidas begins. Naraharidas was his guru, his master, from whom he learnt his shastra, his scriptures. Devotion to the Guru has been the most important integral part of a seeker's life in this living tradition. This tradition never shied away from worshipping Guru as God. Because God, the closest I come to recognize God in my life is through my Guru, is the belief, is the understanding, is the faith. And so, he shows his surrender to his Guru by saying, Shri Guru Charana. So by cleansing my mind with the dust from the feet of my Guru, I purify my mind, and it is only in this purified mind, which is now given to Shraddha, what is possible? You know what is possible? I can glorify the Lord. Now I have the courage to even bring the word of the divine on my lips, to feel him in my soul. It's not possible if I'm filled with impurities of doubts, samshaya, all these doubts and wondering and disturbed mind, afflicted mind, all that is purified in this surrender to my Guru. And he says, Bharanau Raghuvara Bimala Jasu. So Bimala is Vimala, untarnished, untarnished. You can see Sanskritam there, at least I can see. You may see your Hindi. Somebody definitely sees Avadi. I look for Sanskritam here. And so Vimala Jasu Jo Dayaku Phalachari. So Bharanau means Varnan, I describe. Having surrendered to my Guru, I now describe. I do Bharanau, I do Varnan. I describe Raghuvara. Hey, why are you describing Raghuvara? I thought you were starting Hanuman Chalisa. You're not describing Rama here, you're describing Hanumanji. Why do you say Raghuvara Vimala Jasu? Why do you say Lord Rama of the untarnished fame? No tarnish to this personification of Dharma. And he is the one Phalachari, Dayak. He is a giver, Dayak. He gives fourfold results of life for a human being. What are the fourfold results? Well, the four Purusharthas. All my life search, really everything I do in life is only for four results. Please understand, you can broadly categorize all your life activities into four. Artha, Kama, Dharma and Moksha. Artha, Kama, Dharma and Moksha. You may tell me, I don't know, I am not pursuing Moksha. I definitely know Artha. I know Kama. And now and then I follow Dharma. It is not true. Every human heart functions only with the baseline of Dharma. And so fourfold results we get from the divine, from the Lord, from Hanumanji. When Tulasidas says, when I describe his glories. But he didn't say Hanuman, he said Raghuvara, did he not? Well, Raghuvara indirectly, by praising Hanumanji, you are as good as praising Lord Rama. When you praise the devotee in Hanuman, you are praising that which he is devoted to also. And therefore, Raghuvara refers to Lord Rama indirectly. And do you know something? Directly also. Hanumanji was declared by Sita Devi herself as my son. Did she not say Hanumanji is my son? Once she calls him her son, he becomes a Raghuvamshi, is he not? He has become part of the clan of the Raghuvamsha. And therefore Raghuvara, the exalted Raghuvara, can refer to Hanumanji too. And so here, Hanumanji is the giver of fourfold results. When I glorify him, when I praise him, when I understand him, I imbibe. Praise doesn't mean buttering somebody. By praising guna, good qualities, it only shows that your eyes have opened to what is goodness. Your heart has expanded to own up, claim dharma, and therefore glorifying Lord Hanuman is about owning up the devotee in me, within me. And he's saying this, he says, but do you know something, O Lord? buddhihina tanu janike. I have understood myself as devoid of buddhi. You know who I am, Lord Hanumanji? You are a buddhiman. You are the most intelligent. But I am the stupidest fool born on earth. I didn't think so, but my family told me, called me, the ugly duckling. What can I do? The world said, you are stupid, you are foolish, you are a klutz, you don't know anything, you are clumsy. The world gave me all these names, and now I've come to believe. Buddhihina tanu janike. Tanu means I myself. I know myself as buddhihin, vidyahin. I have no knowledge of anything. And it is me, this person, Sumiro Pavanakumar. I remember the Lord Hanumanji, Pavanakumar. Bless me, O Lord. Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi. Give me, please give me. Give me what? What do you want? Balam, give me strength. Buddhi, give me intelligence. And give me knowledge. What will happen if you get all these things? Harahu kales bikar. All this, the distortions. Harahu. So it will take away, once I get bala, buddhi and vidya from you, O Lord, once you bless me with this, that will take away all afflictions from my life, all the klesha from my life. In the Yoga Shastra, in the Yoga Sutras, kleshas are looked upon as fivefold kleshas. Fivefold afflictions of one's mind. In avidya, ignorance is the biggest affliction, That's why human beings can never stand ignorance. When your husband talks to somebody on the phone and he doesn't tell you who it is, you remain ignorant. Can you stand it? Never. Anything around you, you should know. You cannot stand ignorance. Avidya is afflicting. It's a klesha. Asmita is another klesha. Asmita is ego. You can never have ego and not be afflicted. If somebody says, this man has ego, don't talk to him, let us ignore him. You need not do anything to afflict him. His very ego is good enough to afflict him. Afflictions, the language of affliction is ignorance, ajnanam, asmita, ego, raga and dvesha. Likes and dislikes are the most afflicting thought system we have. I like something and I cannot get it. I dislike something and I cannot get rid of it. What else is your life? Most of my activities is trying to grab what I like and try to push away what I dislike. And what happens all the time? What I dislike keeps coming to me and what I like keeps evading me. Is it not? No wonder I am so afflicted. And finally, we talk about the fifth affliction. And what is that? Abhinivesha. One of the biggest affliction called the fear of death. The fear of mrityu, of mortality. These fivefold afflictions. My life is filled with these afflictions. Oh Lord Hanumanji, please come. Bala buddhi vidya dehu mohi harahu kalesa vikara. Once you come in my life, these fivefold afflictions will be gone. I will discover peace, dharma of Lord Rama. And thus we begin with this beautiful opening, 2 dohas, and in the next session we will look at the start of the chaupais. All right. So with this, I close this session. Please come into your prayerful disposition while we chant the closing prayer. Yatra yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra tatra Kritamastakāñjalim Bāshpavari Paripurnalochanam Marutam Namata Rakshasantakam Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Raja Rama Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram. Shanti Shanti Shanti